Okay. So, hey guys, I welcome you all to this awesome webinar and the most awaited one for all the students from AdmitKard. If you were confused between choosing UK and Canada as your study abroad destination, this is the webinar for you. My name is Pragya and I lead the mentorship vertical here at AdmitKard. And today, along with me, I've brought our two esteemed mentors from UK and Canada. So, guys, let us quickly introduce ourselves. Sumeet, can we have an introduction from your side?
Hey there, my name is Sumit and I am basically from Mumbai. And currently I am pursuing my MBA from Cranfield School of Management in the UK. And it's one of the top ranked business school in the UK. So.
Right. So quickly, next we have mentor Ameer from Canada. Can you quickly introduce yourself, Ameer?
Hi, yeah, my name is Ameer. I'm from Dubai. I'm studying in York University, pursuing my BCom degree, my Bachelor's of Commerce degree. And yeah, that's about it.
Okay. So let us just quickly wait for 1 more minute and a few more seconds, I guess, and let us wait if any more students are joining in. So guys, for the new guys who have joined us just now, let me again quickly introduce. I'm Pragya. I lead the mentorship vertical here at AdmitKard, and we have two of our esteemed mentors, Mentor Sumeet from UK and Mentor Ameer from Canada, to help you out with all your queries today. And I think let us proceed. Okay, so guys, let me quickly share what all we are going to go through in today's webinar. First of all, we are going to address the top factors that any student would consider in making their choice of the country. And today specifically, we are going to make a comparison between UK and Canada to find out what factors should a student consider in making that choice, right? Secondly, we'll have a fun rapid fire round. So this is something new and most awaited. So do look out for that. Stay tuned until then. This rapid fire round is really going to be fun. Lastly, we'll address all your queries. So in the last section, you can put down all your queries in the chat section that you see alongside, and our mentors will help you out in addressing that. Okay. So guys, Ameer and Sumeet, let us go about it. Both ready?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So recently, UK and Canada are becoming, the top study destinations across the globe. And specifically for UK, for nearly a decade, a number of students, going to UK had been declining and bit sliding towards, the bottom side. But this trend really faced a reversal recently around 2017 and 18, when more and more students started to go to UK again. For Canada, it always has been a favorite destination. The growth has been tremendous. It has been exceptional. The Indian students are running towards Canada, and it has in fact grown by 40% in 2018. Right. So with more and more students going towards these favorite study abroad destination, it actually becomes a very important criteria for all you guys to understand the factors on which you should make that decision of choosing a country, right? Every country has the pros and cons, and we really need to filter out according to our priorities on what we have to choose, right? So what we have today is we have quickly gathered down some of the major factors that you should be considering to make your study abroad choice, and we'll have a review on them by mentor Sumeet for UK and mentor Ameer from Canada, and so that you'll have a holistic comparison of both the countries. So starting with the first question, guys, right? So how are things in UK and Canada due to COVID? So starting with mentor Sumeet, how are things currently in UK?
So currently we are actually easing the lockdown. Right now we are allowed to go out for exercises and we can roam around in the open spaces freely, and the office spaces and the closed spaces are still closed. And the government is actually planning on easing it more so that they can actually revive the economy here, and again people can go back to work, the jobs can be recreated. So the government is taking steps for these.
Okay. Moving on to mentor Ameer, can we have a similar outlook about Canada? What is going on amidst COVID? How's the situation there?
Well, COVID's been tackled really well from Canada's side. Doug Ford, the Premier of Ontario, has put in so many laws of slowly reopening the economy. From first, they only kept essential businesses open, like grocery stores, department stores, for people to actually, get the essentials. And now they recently started opening more businesses like car washes, things where people don't have to actually interact with others and social distancing is practiced. And at the moment, the update is by the starting of June, I believe June 2nd, the lockdown is going to be relieved for a while. So apart from that, people are allowed to get out for a bit of fresh air, but they keep limits to how many people can meet in a group outside. Like they kept a limit of 5. But even then, like not many people are getting out because they want to, reduce the risk of actually contracting the disease.
Right. At the same time, for both of you guys, if you want to go out, maybe to a library, or is it allowed to go to the university?
I think university is still open, but they actually advise you not to go to any of these places where people can come and you can maybe contact the infection in any way. So the places like libraries and all those things were closed last month, and we haven't heard about that yet. So they aren't opened now, but
Hmm.
hopefully they'll be open soon.
Okay. And what about Canada, Amir?
The campus remains open, but all the buildings are closed. Library is closed. There's no real point of actually going onto the campus. So everyone rather just stay
Right.
home, to be honest.
Okay. So, amidst COVID, what difficulties are you guys facing? Because you have to, arrange things for yourself in terms of groceries or getting some essentials. What difficulties are you facing? Starting with Sumeet.
So first of all, the basic necessity about grocery and food, that's the basic that we are facing. People are just people were panic buying, so we are not getting essential stuff to buy. So these were basic things that we were facing. People were just not actually people are not maintaining this social distancing measure in the beginning, so the infection rates are going up and people were panicking more. In terms of jobs, a lot of companies, a lot of businesses are actually struggling really hard to maintain their profits with their business, so they are laying off people, and a lot of people have been unemployed. And even for us, we are finding it a bit difficult to find a job, and it's about that.
Right. Likewise for Canada, Amir, like what problems did you face? How did you cope up with them?
Like the initial problem was like the way it is in summer, people usually use this time to work either full time or part time to make some money for the rest of the school semester, at least if you're an international student or if you just don't want to work in the fall or winter. So that kind of had to like stop because there were a
Okay.
lot of jobs that got laid off, a lot of workers got laid off, and
Right.
if any internship opportunities, everything was just sort of cut out. So we had to
Right.
resort to different ways to find out how to be more productive because that was the
Right.
main concern. At the moment,
Right.
they're saying that it could last till September, hopefully, or it could even last till December because until a vaccine comes, they don't know when they can really safely reopen all of the universities or the businesses.
Right.
So that was like a huge problem. And yeah, like Sumeet said, the hoarding of certain things from the grocery stores, that
Right.
was an issue in the start.
Mm-hmm.
But after seeing what happened in the first 2 weeks,
Right.
Canada and most of the bigger department stores like Walmart, they started putting
Right.
caps on how many items you could get of
Right.
certain
Right.
products. Like you could only get maybe one a pair of toilet roll. You can't get like, you can't
Right.
hoard 10 rolls, because that was the biggest issue. And now if you go to any department store, you'll get all the essentials because they've successfully imported everything well. They've
Right.
balanced it. They sort of rationed it so that people who are on the poorer side, who aren't able to
Mhm.
hoard and buy things in bulk,
Right.
they can also afford to get things.
Right. Okay. So alongside, I can see a lot of queries, guys. So all your queries will be addressed. Like we have Ankit, I want to study abroad. Please guide me. There's Soumya, I want to do bachelor's in mechanical engineering. So guys, all your queries will be answered soon. Don't worry. The last section of this webinar will actually just cater to all your queries. So don't worry. Let us continue about your application processes, right? So, how is your application process, your admission experience for your respective countries? And you might have as well just rated on a scale from 1 to 10 in terms of easiness that was there in that entire process. So, starting with Sumeet.
So my admission process started somewhere in I think 2017 at the end when I wanted to enter into 2018 admission, and I got rejected in 2017-18. Then I applied again in 2018
Mhm.
end, and at that time I was more mature to how to apply in all the universities. I mailed them. I
Right.
asked for their requirements. Uh, Googled a lot of stuff. I did a lot of research before actually going for it.
Mhm.
I made my application and I
Right.
did everything on my own. So,
Right.
I mean, it was a bit difficult for me
Right.
because I didn't have any help. But
Right.
yeah, at the end, like with interacting with a lot of people from the universities
Mhm.
and the staff and students,
Right.
I knew how to tailor my profile.
Right.
So that's how I got into the university. So if I would rate it, I would rate it as 7.5 out of 10.
Okay. Likewise for Ameer, what? How would you rate it? How was your experience in terms of admissions?
The the admission for Canada was quite easy, to be honest. Like
Mhm.
I was really confused at the start of how to go about it, but then if you go on the website and just see the courses, that's the first step. Like you pick what you actually want to like study, and then
Mhm.
after that, the portal that they send you through, the link, the whole application form, it's pretty simple. Like I applied pretty late compared to the rest of my peers because I was initially also trying to study in the UK, but my
Okay.
plans changed in the last minute. So I applied in June and I got my offer within 2 weeks. And that was
Okay.
like
That's
that
pretty
was, it was
fast.
so convenient. Like I applied, I had one contact who was already studying in the university. She gave me a contact of I think one of the higher directors or something. So I emailed him just to follow up on um my application form, and within a
Mhm.
few days they replied, and then they said it's all just being processed. I got my
Right.
application form, and it's pretty easy. I would say like a 8 out of 10,
Right.
9 out of 10.
Okay. So, alongside, just like a quick thing, amidst all the comments that have been coming here, I see a lot of comments on computer science. Which is better? Which country is better in terms of going for the computer science course? Which country do you think would be better? So you can actually talk about computer science courses in your respective countries.
I would say, I mean, I can't say about anything about Canada, but in UK, there's a lot of requirement for computer science
Mm-hmm.
students. I mean, job prospects are really good for computer science and the people who want to study medical or some medical kind of
Right.
courses. So UK is a good
And what
destination.
about law?
Oh, what about Canada?
Yeah.
Computer science is really good to study in Canada. They have some really nice universities. University of Waterloo is an amazing university too. I think it's one of the top
Right.
ones. Then my university personally, York, has built and put a lot of money into their engineering school, Lason, which has
Right.
now become it's nearing how good our business school is. That's how good it
Right.
is. Like, and they've recently built it only like a couple years ago. They're starting,
Right.
the students have so many opportunities to go to hackathons and get more exposure
Right.
from
Right.
different companies. And on top of that, like just general job prospects, because even banks and most of the industries in Canada, everything needs a computer science student, a computer science employee.
Right.
So
Right.
prospect wise, it's great to come to Canada for it.
Right. Again, let us take a quick question from Yash Batra. He's asking scope of immigration lawyer in Canada. If you have uh, some information on that matter, so Amir, you could just share scope of a lawyer in Canada.
Okay, I can't speak from personal experience because I am yet to have a lawyer for immigration, but I heard if you do have a lawyer and with the right legal advice, they can tell you ways of making it easier to migrate to Canada, getting the PR, making things in the long run cheaper. Because once you do get the permanent residency in Canada, domestic fees is a blessing, and it is like 20% of the international fees, more or less.
Okay.
So I would say try to get in contact with any sort of lawyer, whether it's like a minimal cost or anything. It will be an investment in the long run.
Mhm.
It'll be an essential expense because
Right.
in the end, that will save you a lot more money.
Right. So, guys, please hold on to your seats. We'll take all your queries at the end. Don't worry. Most of your questions might be answered by the questions that we are going to take. So, just hold on. At the same time, the slide that you currently see would show you the top universities for UK as well as Canada. So, you can note down some of the names that you're interested in and have a look on the top universities. So, guys, let us continue. So, next question is quite interesting and a very important question for any student who's planning to go and study abroad. So, how much were you able to earn through part-time jobs, and what is the average part-time salary in your country?
So, talking about part-time job, I never got to do a part-time job because I'm doing an MBA and it's a really hectic course since it's a 1 year's compressed course. So it's really hectic for me. So I couldn't really do a part-time job. But if I say a couple of my friends have been doing it, and the minimum wage here is like £9 an hour.
Right.
So and you get a permission of working 20 hours a week on student visa.
Right.
So, like if you multiply it, you can find some calculation. But
So, is it possible for a student to make their living expenses by working part-time job?
definitely. So, if even if you work 20 hours a week for the whole month,
Mm-hmm.
you can earn about
Right.
600 to 800 pounds. And
Right.
it still depends on the area. So if you are living in London, the living expense is much more than living out of any city.
Right.
So if you
Okay.
have, so you can find a lot of jobs in maybe restaurants, some apprenticeship, or
Mm-hmm.
any kind of job which will at least pay you £9 an hour.
Okay. Where do you see the students working the most? Maybe in restaurants or cafes, which
Yeah,
is like,
restaurants,
yeah,
cafe, assisting university professors. All these are very famous, very known places where students like to work.
right. So likewise for Canada, I mean, how much can a student make, working part time, and is it enough to, complete their living expenses?
Oh, definitely. Like I personally also work part time in my first year, just for 2 months though.
Okay.
Like I just wanted to get a feel of I had some extra time on my hands in the winter, so I worked at
Okay.
Subway for 2 months, like
Okay.
24 hours a week. And if you're a
Right.
student and if you get an on-campus job, you have the opportunity to work 40 hours a week,
Right.
which is great. But not every student's gonna do that because you'll have to study. But if you work 20 hours a week,
Mm-hmm.
you can earn a decent amount of money. You can earn around $1,100 Canadian dollars to even
Right.
$1,400 depending on the wage. The minimum wage here is, when you convert it from UK's £9,
Right.
is lesser. It's $14 an
Right.
hour, but
Right.
they're still trying to make reforms to increase the minimum wage. But regardless,
Right.
it's definitely enough to cover your general expenses, or at least your rent and a bit of your food expenses.
Okay. Okay. So we have a question from Karanjeet. Do universities offer part-time jobs or paid internships? So you can answer that for your respective countries.
Uh, okay, so sometimes for the university sometimes they provide some jobs, some kind of internships. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, some university do guarantee that they'll get you some internship, or for a part-time job they can give you some job in the university of assisting
Right.
professors and all those. But
Right.
if you want to do anything else like working in a cafe, pub, or restaurant, you'll have to find it on your own.
Okay. Okay. Likewise for Canada, Amir.
The university, they provide you the resources to get the right job. They won't
Okay.
really hand it out to you. Like everything that the university will do will just be like a stepping stone. They'll just help you out with getting the job that you want. Yeah, like
Mm-hmm.
you said, jobs like being a barista or working at a small restaurant, the university doesn't need to help you. It's pretty basic. Anyone can work there. But if
Right.
you want a paid internship, it's they'll have job fairs throughout the year, probably like I think two a semester sometimes, and then the networking events separately from different clubs. And then on top of that, they have themselves affiliated with certain companies,
Okay.
so it just makes it
So,
easier for them to connect the students to the employers.
okay. So, since you mentioned that you had been working part-time in Subway, how did you find your job?
It was all right. It was a good way to use the spare time I had, because if you don't have enough credits in your course, like I didn't personally want to have the complete credit requirement, complete
Right.
like credit capacity. Like it's 30 credits, which is around it can go up to like 10 courses, which I didn't want. So I took like 6 to 7 courses, and I had some spare time. I spent like maybe 4 days a week or 5 days a week working just 6 hour shifts, which was it
Okay.
was fine. Like it wasn't anything too exhausting. But again, I said I worked for 2 months because I stopped prior to final season, which is around
Okay.
March. That's when course loads start getting more hectic. There's more work to do, that you have assignments left, right, midterms to worry about. You have to put in time in the library to study. So that time, you can just get out of the job and it's all right. It's not like you signed a contract. There's more
Right.
flexibility to it.
Okay. So, Amir, just a very quick question in terms of what is the cost of living in Canada? It's a question from Muzamil.
Cost of living in Canada, like
Yeah.
just rent or general, like
You might,
everything, like most of the expenses.
so you can split it up quickly and tell us what is the cost in terms of your accommodation and your other expenses.
Okay, I'd say like overall general expenses would be around 14,000 Canadian dollar to 18,000 Canadian dollar, depending on where you live. It can go on the
Okay.
lower range, and it can go even lower depending on how much you spend on food
Hmm.
and your whether you go out a lot, because that is
Okay.
the determinant factor. But bare minimum, yeah, I'd say like 13,000 to 14,000 is a good point.
Hmm.
Uh,
Okay.
rent, again, rent depends on where you study. Now, like let's take McMaster University for example. Now,
Hmm.
I have a friend who studies at McMaster University, and she pays around like probably 5,000 or yeah, 5,000 Canadian dollars a year for rent, which is very cheap. It's more on the cheaper side. I mean, if you get lucky with places like that, it's good, because like most students, what they do is, apart from the student accommodation the first year that they take in the universities, they go off campus somewhere nearby to the universities, and the universities are usually in these locations where they have sort of like a village, is what they mostly call it, like just these kind of neighborhoods where a lot of students take up rooms in different houses. And if you're just taking up a room and sharing a kitchen with someone, it's mostly going to be cheap. But let's say you're studying in University of Toronto and on the St. George campus, which is downtown, just because it's downtown and it's Toronto, it's going to be a lot more expensive. Like rent can go up to, you know, like a 12,000 a year. So the range is quite big depending on where you live and how lavish you want to have your accommodation.
I think she got disconnected. She'll be joining back soon. So maybe we can, by the time we can actually answer a few questions in the chat.
There are a lot of questions to go through.
Yeah, there are a lot of questions. So do you want to answer?
Sure, let's. Oh, she's back.
Oh,
Right
yeah,
on
I'm
time.
so sorry. It is again because of COVID. We're all stuck at home. Okay, so let us continue. Okay, so next question is, how is the university curriculum in terms of your placements, in terms of your internships from the universities, everything practically?
Talking about placements, there are no campus placements, as if they won't actually provide you with the jobs in hand. You'll have to find jobs on your own. They can organize
Mm-hmm.
career fairs. They organize your various platforms where you can find jobs. They'll help you
Mm-hmm.
build your CV. They'll help you in everything. But at the end, it's up to you how you get the job. So you have to apply for it on your own. You have to
Right.
get an interview on your own. So all those things are on you, up to you. But
Mm-hmm.
they will support you in every other way.
Okay. Okay. Likewise, for Ameer, the same question. How is the university curriculum? What about the placements and internship opportunities?
The curriculum is really good. The way they teach things, it's really nice. And the big thing I learned that it also depends on the professors you pick for each course. There will be some courses that you'll find that, oh, the professor might not be the most enthusiastic, but then there are some courses which you least expected where the professors give it their all to make sure the student, gets to
Right.
know what he's trying to teach. Then apart from that, most like the way the university is, it's basically just one big hub. And in that hub, there are colleges where they, divide it. Like there's the engineering college, there's a college for
Mm-hmm.
the commerce side, there's college
Right.
for the health and fitness side and the medical and all that. So in
Right.
each college, they have these sort of seminars
Mm-hmm.
where they review your resume. They tell you, like basically these sort of seminars to help you get jobs. There were the amount of emails I get about resume building, interview tips,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like just these small 1 hour, half an hour to 1 hour networking events where they just talk to you about what you should be doing, what you should not be doing. They'll tell you how to fix up your
Right.
LinkedIn. They tell
Right.
you how to network with the employers, and yeah, they give you all the resources. But like he said, it depends on how much use you make of the resources. Most of these are free, but like I mean, you're paying the tuition, so it's all under the same amount.
Right. So, as you can see, guys, I've put up a slide which presents the cost of UG courses in UK and Canada. Amir and Sumeet, what are the fees, the yearly fees for your courses respectively?
Uh, Talking about yearly fees for MBA, MBA is obviously the most expensive course anywhere. So for me, it was like 39,000 pounds for 1 year, but I got some
Mm-hmm.
scholarship, some reimbursement. So
Okay.
it it came up about 26,000 pounds for the whole year.
Okay.
Uh, for me, it goes up to 24,000 Canadian dollars to 30,000 Canadian dollars, depending on how many courses I take. The more courses I take, the more expensive
Okay.
it's gonna be. For most of
Okay.
my friends who are in engineering, it ends up becoming a bit more expensive because their degree requirement itself has more credits required.
Right.
Like for
Right.
example, my finance course is 120 credits, and their engineering courses usually are 150 credits. So the more courses, the more the more they'll have to spend in the long run.
Okay, fair enough. So, guys, a couple of more questions, and then we are moving ahead to the section where you ask all your questions. So, just hold on. This question particularly would interest a lot of people. How are the PR chances in UK and Canada, respectively?
So I mean, in UK they have made it pretty easy. So if you live here for like 5 years, you are eligible to apply for a PR. So
Mm-hmm.
when you will be applying for a student visa from next term, you will be getting it for 2 years. I mean, you'll get 2 years post study work visa. So I mean, it's almost like 3 years. And if you land a job after that, you can actually extend up to 5 years and get a PR. So you'll be eligible for PR in 5 years.
Okay.
Around the same for Canada. What they say on most of the websites online is that you need to be studying for 3 or 4 years and then working full time for 1 year to be eligible for the PR. But what I've noticed is, I mean, it's no secret that Canada has an abundance of Indians around trying to get the PR. So it's pretty simple, but there's a lot of factors that go in it. It depends on how much you'll end up contributing to the economy, whether you can land a job, how many days you're staying in Canada. Like in the 4 years that you're here, if you need to at least stay in Canada for I think 740 days or something. There
Mm-hmm.
it's something on the official immigration website. But certain factors, like if you get a lawyer, like my parents are trying to get in touch with a lawyer to speed up the process. So
Okay.
there are these applications like family class sponsorship applications, which I'm not exactly sure of how it goes about, but if one person in the family gets the permanent residency, they have the opportunity to sponsor the rest of their family. But
Right.
don't quote me on that. You can look up and factually check whether it's completely that's how it
Right.
that's how it goes.
Yeah, it's the same for UK. Like just check the official government website, since a lot of things are going on right now with COVID, Brexit, and all those things. So the official information about PR and everything will be on the UK
Mm-hmm.
government website.
Okay. So, one quick question from Sanjay. How are job opportunities for engineering, civil engineering in Canada? How good is the University of Saskatchewan?
Uh, I haven't personally heard of University of Saskatchewan. You can
Mm-hmm.
definitely look that up though. But generally, job opportunities for most of engineering is pretty good in Canada. Like I've seen that most of the industries are flourishing because it's still a growing country. Like there's so many opportunities. Small businesses just pop up every second month. So
Right.
in each business, usually there requires certain engineers, marketers. Marketing and business
Right.
usually are flourished here, but
Right.
there are a lot of engineering opportunities for sure.
Okay, that's great. Another question from Goini Jeel, BCA college in Canada from commerce background without mathematics. So, Goini, can you just elaborate your question a bit more so that we can understand? Piyush Gupta, job or internship assistance in Canadian colleges skipped. Please let us know that. Okay. So, about job and internship assistance, I think we have discussed a few more things, but just a quick question from my end, guys. If I have to reach out to somebody in my university regarding getting some assistance in terms of getting a job or a part-time job or an internship, who am I supposed to reach out to?
You can, like in Canada, you can definitely go to your colleges, talk to some of the seniors or the not academic advising, but there are like
Mm-hmm.
certain mediators, essentially middlemen to link
Okay.
you with the alumni. And there are usually
Okay.
alumni meets on campus, and even there are these things, like I said, how they have those seminars for resume building. They have
Mm-hmm.
these um, coffee hangouts essentially at the
Okay.
colleges and lounges where they call in alumni or people just to come network, have a cup of coffee, a bagel, and just sit and talk for like maybe 20 minutes, half an hour, just to
Right.
spare time. And then from there on, if you even get that person's contact or their LinkedIn, and if you message them and then ask them, hi, can I meet up with you sometime to talk about this, or if you're ever free to for like a video call or a phone call, and then they'll usually,
Right.
if they reply, they probably would agree to spare like 15 to 45 minutes with you. That is one
Right.
way of networking.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, same in the UK when you'll have to network with people in terms of, you can approach them in the university. You can find them on LinkedIn by, applying filters of whoever studied in this university at this time.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can find them on Facebook pages. All those things are already set up. So you can find people there to
Okay.
network and talk to them, so that you can get more idea
Mm-hmm.
about the course. You can get how did they get a job. All those things you can try to connect to them.
Right.
And
Right. Okay. So, here is a bit on scholarships in UK and Canada. So you can see a list of scholarships respectively for UK and Canada. So these are some of the top scholarships. So guys, do you have any information? Did you get any scholarships? So starting with Sumeet, what are the scholarship options available? How do you check if you're eligible for a scholarship? And if you are not, how do you go about making a good profile that might be eligible?
so I mean, one of the most important thing that I noticed, that most of the universities have this early bird scholarship where you apply by this time, then you get some kind of bursary, and you can reduce that in the tuition fees. Apart from that, you have scholarship based on your nationality, there are a lot of scholarships for women students, I mean girl students. Apart from that, we have scholarships for extraordinary profiles. So talking about profiles, you need maybe a good score in your respective examination, GRE, GMAT, your IELTS. These kind of things matter, and what have you done before you apply to the universities. For example, um, I polished my CV by doing a lot of jobs, a lot of things that were related to my field. So I wanted to do an MBA. I made myself that way, my profile that way, that everything aligns to the MBA part of the university. So that's how you polish your profile, so that you get eligible to apply for the scholarship. I think you're on mute.
Yeah, there are there is the entrance scholarship for Canada too, for some universities. I'm not sure about all. My university had it too. I didn't get eligible because I applied pretty late. But regardless, it is just a small fee of like $500, which should cover your textbook expenses. And apart from that, there are a lot of bursaries and financial aid programs that the university provides, and a lot of them will require you to send your banking information and other information that the university needs to verify to see whether you're eligible for it. So a lot of that can be checked on most of the university's websites prior,
Okay.
and there is obviously academic excellence awards. I have a friend
Okay.
who is really smart, and he's on a full scholarship at Schulich Business School right
Okay.
now. So he has to
Okay.
pay none of his fees, but to maintain that type of scholarship, he has to keep maintaining his grade so that he doesn't
Right.
have to, end up paying the tuition. But then again, that is like the 1% of scholarship.
Right.
There are other ones that are more lenient, and
Mm-hmm.
there are almost like bursaries for the simplest of things. There was a bursary last time I checked for staying in a certain city, which is, it boggles my mind how there's a bursary for that. But yeah, it's pretty lenient in that sense. There are
Right.
a lot of
Okay.
aids.
Okay. So, one quick question from Ankit. Can you share your review about agriculture courses in your respective countries?
I'm not really sure about agriculture part because I've never
Yeah, sorry,
talked.
Ankit, not
Yeah.
So,
very
Ankit, what you can do is you can reach
knowledgeable
out
with
to
that.
us via info@admitcard.com, and we'll surely give you an answer for that. So, guys, let us quickly take some of the queries that we have here. So, let us take Nitin about University of Canada West MBA program. So, Ameer, you might help in that.
Uh, I haven't really heard of University of Canada West,
Mm-hmm.
but you can definitely look up. It's most of the universities I've noticed that their master's program are usually better than their undergrad, but you can always check up and look at reviews or try to link up with other alumni at that specific university to get to know it better.
Right.
Because I'm not sure if this is a private university or public university or like a well-known university. So
Right.
regardless, like there are other ways to like get to know people who've already studied in those university to get to know about those programs.
Right.
Sorry, I don't know too much about that specific uni.
Okay. Okay, so guys, although you're putting down all your queries here, and we will answer them in the last section, but also you can join both the mentors in an exclusive chat session over WhatsApp. So you have the link over the top on a sticky message, so you can check that out. So now is the interesting part about today's session. So we have this rapid fire round that we're gonna play with each one of you, starting with Sumeet. So you know the drill. It's you have quite some seconds, about 5 seconds, to answer each question, and I will also try to be as fast as I can in asking. Okay, so that sounds cool. We can go ahead, right?
Yep.
Okay. Okay. Question one: texting or talking?
Talking depends on
Talking.
the person.
Okay, we have to run faster, right? Okay. Last thing you binge watched?
Walking Dead series on Amazon Prime.
The
Okay.
Last Dance on Netflix.
Okay. Complete the sentence. Creativity is.
Imagination.
Important.
Okay. What are you most proud of?
Reaching here without any help.
Okay.
What am I most proud of? Not completely wasting my time in the last 2 months during the
Okay.
pandemic.
First thing you purchased in this country.
This jacket.
Alright,
Okay.
a winter jacket. Yeah, I purchased a winter jacket pretty quick.
Seems to be the most important thing. Okay. Okay. What are you thinking right now?
That I'm thirsty.
I was just wondering what the next question was gonna be. Not really much on my
Okay.
mind right now.
Okay. So this is a bit tricky question. What can travel the world without okay, while staying in a corner?
What? Sorry.
What?
Can you-
What can travel the world while staying in a corner?
Google Maps or a globe.
Okay. Okay.
Uh,
Amir?
yeah, I guess a globe.
Okay. Okay. The first place you visited in this country?
Uh, Leeds.
Toronto, downtown.
Okay. How often do you skip to cook a meal for yourself?
Once in 3 days.
I don't really skip because I cook once for like 3-4 days, so it's pretty good that way.
Okay. As an international student, the best app that help you out?
Uh, I'll still stay Google Maps.
Yeah, Google Maps is a nice one, but
What about you, Amir?
I found the Google has this one thing, the Google Calendar. As a student, that was the most important thing for me because it just got all my stuff just ready for me to like see my deadlines and stuff. So yeah, that helped
Okay.
tremendously.
Toughest thing in your admission process: visa, shortlisting, or applications?
Visa, 100% visa.
Shortlisting.
Shortlisting. Okay, that's great. Can you say something in another language other than Hindi or English?
Bonjour, merci de votre aide. It's French. That means hello, thank you for your help.
Okay, that's quite great.
Kak Tibetu. I think that means how are you in Ukrainian. I have one Ukrainian friend, so he taught me that. That's about it.
Okay. 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 So I think that was quite quick and you answered most of the question. And I hope it has taken some of the heat down from answering all the questions. But now we have to come back to the zone again because all the students are putting down a lot of queries. Let us take them one by one. And starting from Goini Chil, can I do Bachelor of Computer Application in Canada from commerce background without mathematics specifically? Okay.
Can I do a Bachelor of Computer Application?
Yeah.
From commerce background, I don't. You will have to honestly email the university and check if they're okay with that. Because usually what I see is people from computer science background switching to commerce, but the other way around is a lot more trickier because
Yeah,
you need to
Right.
know a lot of the basics to actually get through. But business is something you can definitely pick up quite more easily, and math is
Okay.
always needed. So
Okay.
you really need to check with the university for that one.
We have the next question from Rishabh Jain, who is asking, do we need to give SAT exam to take admission in UK and Canada
No,
respectively for UC courses?
no, you don't
Uh,
need it at all for the undergrad process.
Okay. What about you, Sumeet?
not sure about undergrad, but I think SAT is the English exam, right? I'm not really sure.
No, SAT is
So
like an assessment test.
Assessment
It's
test,
like a
okay.
general assessment test. It's
Yeah, so,
needed for the US, like strongly, but for Canada, thankfully, I did not need it, and it was quite more easy to get.
so
right.
for UK, it actually depends on the university. If the university requires it, then they will ask you to give it. And if they don't, then you can actually just make your profile and submit it, and they won't really ask for it. A
They
lot of
usually don't also for the
yeah, a lot of
UK.
universities have their own exam as well. So if you want that specific university, you can go for their own exam. It
Right.
really depends.
Okay. Next question from Harshit. MS in Computer Science from Canada. What is the fees?
MS. Computer science fees?
Yeah. Master's fees.
Oh, masters. Okay. I'm just gonna average it's probably gonna be above 30,000 Canadian dollars. Just keep that as a range, 30 to 40,000. I'm gonna assume for the most part that should be a safe bet.
Okay.
Yeah, because masters
One
will be
question.
expensive and the programs are
Yeah.
usually 2 years. Computer science is always more expensive than the commerce. So yeah, 30, 40 grand.
Okay. Okay. Next question from Vamshi. How much can anyone earn with PG completion in Canada?
How much can anyone earn? Entry jobs, okay. Um, I'm pretty sure they can earn a decent amount. Like if the minimum wage is 14, they would probably get an entry level job of 18 to 25 Canadian dollars an hour or more, to be honest, because postgraduate, right? Yeah. It depends on the type of job that you apply for, definitely, because that question is pretty
Right.
vague. And it depends on your position, your education,
Right.
and yeah, the pretty much the size of the company. A lot of those factors come into play. But if you
Right.
do finish your post grad, and you can definitely apply for more hired positions and get a better pay than if you just finish your
Right.
undergrad.
Right. So next question is from Muzamil. What is the cost of computer engineering Canada? So I think Muzamil, we have already taken that question up, but you, even if you want that to be repeated, you can join the WhatsApp group. The link is there on the top. Next question from Ramshaw. If I take admission in a university in province other than Ontario, can I get a PR in Ontario after graduation?
I believe you can, because the whole idea is getting a PR in Canada as a whole. So it should be fine.
Great. Okay. So next question from Prithwin. Considering the COVID situation, will it be generally harder to find employment?
Is it for UK or can?
So you can respectively answer for both of your countries.
Could you repeat the question? Sorry, I got lost for a second.
What will be the employment prospects because of the whole COVID situation? How it's gonna get affected?
For UK, I would say that this year will be difficult. For like 2020 will be difficult, but since they are trying to ease the lockdown, revive the economy, they'll actually create the jobs. And from 2021, actually you'll get the normal number of jobs that you usually have.
Right.
Yeah, same way they're trying to rebuild the economy,
Okay.
but I feel there'll be a lot more of remote jobs up for grabs now. And they'll probably try to keep that because now there've been so many articles about whether do they really need office spaces even after the pandemic passes. So a lot of things might change. Like I feel in general there will be more remote jobs, and with the economy suffering a bit, a good amount actually, there would be jobs in abundance. I don't think jobs would be a problem. Unfortunately, a lot of businesses did close because of this. There are some certain bars that also had to close down because they couldn't handle the rental expenses and just trying to maintain their business without any customer traffic.
Yeah, I would just add here that
Okay.
if it's in UK or Canada, I think in both the places you'll have to look for jobs, and it's like it won't be served to you on a platter. So it's really important
Right.
to be ready for any opportunity that's up for grabs and go for it.
Okay. So the next question is from Rakesh. How are job opportunities for aerospace engineering in the UK?
Uh, Aerospace engineering, I mean, it's really well known in Cranfield, and they have their own airport as well. So it's pretty good. I mean, I was visiting a career fair last year, and they had a lot of opportunities for aerospace engineering graduates. They had different requirements, like I mean, there are different positions. Like you could be anywhere from a pilot in British Air Force to an engineer in any of the aerospace company, airline company, or anything. So it's pretty good.
Right. Okay. So next question is from Soumya. Can I book a room from India before coming to Canada? If yes, then which website would be the best?
There are these websites like Kijiji, which is great for contacting. Kijiji is like a marketplace. You can check that for rooms and accommodation. There's Facebook Marketplace, which is great to go to, and there's I think placesforstudents.com, which is the one I use to get my current house. But for the most part, for most of these places, they need some documentation, which you can send. And the only thing is be wary of which place you take, because you'll have to trust the photos for the most part. You need to like make sure, like if you have a friend who is currently in Canada, you can check the place out for you to make sure that it's it's clean and it's sanitary and it's exactly how it looks in photos, because a lot of people do this thing where they make it look a lot nicer than it is. So just be careful of the place you pick. Be smart about it.
Okay, great enough. Next question is from Kamal Arora. Which is better to do, master's or PG diploma if candidate is from pharma background? So you both might answer that question.
Okay, so I mean, it really depends on your interest, which is better. I mean, as far as I've known that masters in anything has more value, but it really depends. You can get a job with both the degrees.
Yeah, what he said.
I mean, it's really it really depends. Postgraduate would be mostly research degree, so you'll mostly be going to the research part, and masters would give you a proper job in certain sector.
To be honest, just see
What are job
what career you want to go towards, and then accordingly pick the right choice. Because
Right.
both there's no right or wrong choice. My bad. There's no right or wrong choice. It's just that depends on what you want to do with that degree.
Yeah, definitely.
So look into
Right.
that. Yeah.
So the next question is from Maninder. I have done BTech in CSE with 73% in 2016. After that, I'm doing a job as a lecturer from this. I have also done IELTS overall 6 bands, not less than 5. Which country should I prefer? So you can talk about the country requirements in general and if that fits for Maninder or not.
I would say you could try for Canada because there are a good amount of Canadian universities, and I think 6 is the cutoff. 6 is the bare minimum cutoff. But even like there are some universities that allow 5.5. But regardless, if you're since you got 73%, it's not too bad. It's pretty good. You could maybe redo IELTS and try to get a higher grade, and then maybe apply for a better university, if that is what you're looking for. If the question is about studying, if it's about a job, then it's just helpful to have a higher IELTS score, because they look into that because it shows your proficiency in English, and they would want to hire someone that they can talk
Okay.
to and
Okay.
communicate very well.
Yeah, same for
Okay.
UK, but in UK you'll have to. I mean, every university will have different cutoffs. So depending on university cutoff, you can actually go on and apply. If you have this much percentage of this score, you can actually browse for various universities which offer places after this score. So it really depends on every
Right.
university. But if you want a better
Mhm.
university, you can actually go for IELTS again.
Okay. So since there are a lot of questions, let us try to solve them like very quickly and kind of binge watch the questions as well. So first question, Muzamil, which university is good for computer engineering in Canada?
Waterloo is amazing. I believe Queens is really good. My university, York, is also, it's pretty nice. And yeah, you can look up the top 10, top 20 universities. Most of them are really good and they have a good amount of resources. But then apart from that is like how involved you are with your university and the people around you, because that plays a big
Okay.
factor. Meeting more people and interacting with more peers who are older to you and colleagues, it helps
Right.
build your career in the long run. So I would
Right.
say look up the top 20, look which is most affordable and in optimal locations, and also
Okay.
take in consideration the weather. Some places are colder than others, and it looks like easy, like, oh, okay, -20, -30, but then it does get annoying. So pick a
Right.
place that you feel like you can adjust to and you would want to stay for, like,
Right.
8 months into 4 years or 2 years.
Okay. Okay. Next question is from Rizik. How about business courses in UK as I am joining for undergraduate?
Oh, there are a lot of business courses for undergraduates, and I mean, depending on your score in GRE, GMAT, or whatever the entrance test is, you can apply for various universities. So, for example, my university is just for postgraduate. It has all the master's courses and no undergraduate courses. So, checking with
Right.
universities, for example, you have. I mean, if you have got a really great score, you can go for Cambridge or Oxford, something like that. So it depends on your
Okay.
score in different exams and your IELTS score, and you can apply for with your overall profile. So your overall profile would actually matter.
Okay.
And sorry, I can finish off. My bad. I don't want to cut you
So
off.
he has written in terms of jobs. So in terms of job, you will get, most probably you will get a job. It again comes back to the same point that you'll have to actively look for jobs, and it won't be really served on a platter. A lot of universities will be offering you placements. They'll be guaranteeing that you will place you in this company or that company, but they have certain ties up with some companies.
Right.
So you might get a job. Most probably you'll get a job. There won't be any problem with that.
And for business in
Okay.
UK, University of Sussex is really good. It's quite it's more on the cheaper side, and it's more lenient of how many of the requirement of getting in.
Right.
Yeah,
There was
apart from
Loughborough
that,
University,
depends on your
University of York,
how much you can afford.
Leeds
Yeah.
University, University of Manchester. These are the ones I applied to, so that's why I know about them. These were really good. There was University of Exeter, which wasn't bad. Nottingham University was also, yeah. University of Nottingham is really good for business, and I think it's not too bad for law. Kent also, Kent is a decent
It's a
university.
good university.
Yeah, so take these also into consideration.
Okay.
Hmm.
So, okay. The next question from Arnav Singhal. How is MIM program in Canada?
MIM program? What is the MIM program?
Masters in management.
Sorry?
Masters in management.
Masters in Management.
Masters in Management. It's really good. Masters in Management is an amazing program. At least in York's business school, Schulich, it is, I think, the #1 program here. So if you have the opportunity to apply to Schulich's business school for management program, it's amazing for masters. But there are other universities. You can check in Ryerson, you can check in George Brown it's all right. Then there's University of Toronto, Queen's, Western. There are a list of universities. These are the most well known. There's Guelph, which is also not too bad. Wilfrid Laurier, which people don't talk about too much, is amazing for both science, business, because I think the business school is Lazarus. It's a really good school. So you should look into all of these, look into contacting alumni if you can, after you look into the whole
Right.
the fees and the affordability.
Right. Okay. So the next question is from Karanjit. How do you tackle cold winters?
Cold winters, yeah. You initially it's a big shock because in the fall itself it starts dropping to the lower temperatures from the usual 18 degrees. It goes down to 2 degrees, 1 degree, and by December it's really cold. It reaches negative, but your body just gets used to it. It's not as bad as it sounds. You don't feel like you're really in a freezer because at one point you're just wearing layers and layers, and everyone's going through the same thing. A lot of things end up being indoors, and the good thing about Canada as a whole, they know about this, so they make events where people meet up and just have like a cup of hot chocolate, or they just stay indoors, listen to like some music or binge watch movies. They do a lot of things to make it more comfortable because they understand that winters can get depressing. So the best thing I can say is you will have to experience it and kind of get used to it to build that thick skin for it.
Right. Okay.
And yeah, the universities are open in the winter season. That's the winter term.
Okay. So the next question from Karanjit again. Are the universities going to be open in the winter season?
That's what I answered, yeah.
Okay. Okay. So next question is, what is a safe score that one should have in IELTS and academics to get a seat for sure in UK or Canada?
I'd say 7 is a pretty safe score. 7 is always a safe score.
Okay.
I mean, even
next
6.5 is still manageable, but
6.5 is the bare minimum requirement for everything. I haven't seen any university ask for 7 as a minimum, but 7 it's always good to be on the safe side. Don't aim for the lower, aim high for English at least. It'll help regardless.
Right. So another question from Karanjit. Does Canada accept 15 years of education?
What's the question? Does Canada accept 15 years of education? I mean, what exactly do you mean? Like you study till 12th CBSE
So
and did an
basically,
undergrad.
it would be like a 3 year course, like 3 year degree instead of a 4 year degree.
Yeah, they definitely do that. My program has that. I opted for the 4 year program, but there are so many 3 year programs, and some people want to finish off their undergrad quicker so they can contact employers and be like, "Can I get a job?" Because they just want to work faster. But if you want to specialize in certain fields, you can
Mhm.
go for an extra year, and it varies for degree to degree. But yeah, there are definitely
Right,
3 year degrees for undergrad.
right. Okay. So sorry, Sandan, to keep you waiting for that long, but taking his question now, how embedded job market in Canada is, or how's embedded job market in Canada? That's the correct question.
How's the embedded job market? What do you mean by that? Like how? I mean, the job market in general, it's pretty good at the moment. Like it hasn't been saturated yet. There will come a time where the job market will saturate, but as of now, I just see people getting jobs left, right, and center. Competition is increasing as the years go on because more people are migrating to Canada. So what I would say is find a certain field that you want to go into and just apply to every single company that you can. And most of the companies will have a certain application process where they'll ask you to write a sort of cover letters. Cover letters is so important for the university, and make sure each cover letter is different for each company. You don't want to copy and paste the same thing for each sort of job. You want to make it personalized. So it will take time, but each of those applications will both help you with your writing and get you a higher chance of actually landing the job, or at least landing the interview for the job, because there's a lot that takes into
Mhm.
consideration.
So Siantan has actually elaborated on that, and he's mentioned it's more like electronic manufacturing. So he actually means the course, embedded electronics course that he's looking forward.
Oh, electronic manufacturing. Pretty sure there are a lot of jobs for most of the fields. Like I would say go for it, you know, especially anything related to engineering. Definitely. Canada is all about, growth and infrastructure. So there
Hmm.
will there's so many jobs for the TTC, which is our Toronto Transit Center essentially.
Right.
It's the subway system. So that metro itself, they have a lot of job opportunities for marketers, business students, and even for the engineers.
Okay. So the next question is from Arpit. How important the location is while choosing a university in UK?
So, I mean, I would say it's pretty important. It actually also depends on your financial conditions. So, like if you choose a university which is in London, so the living cost and all the other costs will shoot up. And if you choose a university which is like far from the main city, for example, Cranfield, the
Hmm.
cost is pretty low, and you can your finances will be pretty much balanced.
Hmm.
So it's really important. Also, there are other factors as well in terms of location. If you say if like you get more networking opportunities in the main cities rather than in a university which is in the middle of nowhere.
Right.
So there are 2-3 factors which are actually important. So it really depends on you how you like what's important for you. If you can handle the finances, then it's good to go for a a university which is in this city. And if your finances are important, if you are not able to afford a lot, then it's better to have a university which is far from the city, and your finances will be pretty low, and you can actually travel to the nearest city for job opportunities as well.
Okay. Next question is from Muzamil. Is it necessary to have 90% in 12th board exams to get the best university in Canada?
No,
So
definitely
yeah.
not. That's so difficult. Like the standard isn't that high for these universities. Obviously, that would help if you had 98%, but what they look for is a lot more. They expect, especially, okay, let's give University of Toronto for example. That university is #1 in Canada, and for applying there, yeah, sure, you need the grades, but apart from that, they ask for cover letters, which you would expect from companies when you are looking for a job, but they ask for like cover letters asking you why you want to take this course and why you feel you're a good fit for this university. This university plus I think University of British Columbia UBC, they both ask for the same. You don't need 98%. Yeah, you can look into the university and check their degree requirements, like what is the bare minimum that you need to get, and then from there on just look into everything and
Okay.
their
So
acceptance
one
rate.
question.
Look into their acceptance rate.
Okay. Okay. So next question from Harshal Patel. September intake start, study in campus, else online. So I think what he's meaning to ask is if they'll have to defer, offline classes will be available, or the students have to go for online classes for the next intake.
As of now, nothing has really been announced. I personally feel like it will probably be online. The way Canada is going, it seems like things could be easier and they could go offline. But the reason why I say that it could definitely, not definitely, it could have a chance of just staying online is because when the pandemic hit, a lot of the students went back home. Everyone's just stuck there, and now they're doing summer school online, or they're just trying to make do with their time. And by September, if we don't have a vaccine and if things stay stable, let's say, it'll be kind of reckless if the university makes things offline. Because, like, to give my university, for example, York has around 50,000 students. And every year there's an influx of students coming from all over, a lot from India. So that
Right.
that kind of has the risk of increasing the second wave of COVID-19 contraction. So I would
Right.
say be prepared for an online semester, and for that get in touch with people who are in those particular university if you've already applied and you've accepted your offers,
Right.
and check in if there's a chance to actually defer it. There's nothing wrong with deferring it and maybe coming in the winter, but even doing it from fall is not the end of the world. Sure, yeah, it is a high price to pay, and without the classes being in class, but they do have recorded lectures. They give you links to all the resources. The things you miss out on are the on-campus activities, the intramurals, playing the sports, all the fun stuff. Yeah, you'll miss out on the fun stuff, but if you just want to continue with your education, online isn't the end of the world.
Right. So, to answer your question, Harshal, what you can do is I've pasted the link of our COVID tracker in your chat section. So that will give you access to find out all the universities, what's the latest update, if the classes are being offered online, if you can defer, what are the document relaxations, what are the test relaxations. So I've pasted that link, guys. Do check that out. We have curated a data for around 700 plus universities. So you'll find all the information that you need there. Okay, going on to the next question is from Sumeet. I have an educational gap of 6 years. I have been working for 6 years. Can I go for UK or Canada for bachelor's degree like BBA?
I think so. I mean, for UK, a lot of universities have different requirements. So it's still you'll have to check out various universities and mail them and ask if they accept this or not. So they have different requirements, and you can maybe ask the university directly or someone who has studied in your target universities before. They can actually answer it better for you.
Okay.
What's
Next
the
question is
question?
from Syantan.
Oh, sorry. It's one question. Cool.
Yeah. So I'm gonna be Canadian soon, but with 60% in BE and stuck in India with 3 years of embedded job experience. What's my best option to settle there?
I mean, you have a high chance if you're gonna be Canadian soon. Like, do you have any Yeah, what do you, any family living there? What do you mean by you're going to be Canadian soon? As in you're trying to come to Canada?
So,
Maybe he is about job.
Santhan, could you just elaborate on that so that we can
Oh, you're
help you
getting
out
engaged.
better?
I mean, if you get the PR, a lot of things kind of come into place for you. So 60% MBE, that's fine. Like grades don't matter as much. There are a lot more factors to getting a job than just the basic grades. So I would say look into jobs in your field, apply regardless. And the fact that you have 3 years of experience is immense. Like that's crazy. That's really good. So you probably have a good chance of landing a job if you already had job experience.
Okay. So the next question is from Rakesh. May I know the financial expenses in Cranfield University annually?
Oh, I've just replied to him on the chat. So
Okay. Great. So I hope your question was answered. So guys, we'll
I think
take a
Rakesh
couple of
has,
more minutes.
Rakesh
Okay.
has a question.
Yeah. A new question from Rakesh for the upcoming intake. Does Cranfield University go for online classes or offline classes?
I think they are trying to figure out a fine balance between both the things. So they're going to stay offline in room classroom in classroom learning, but they are also having a backup plan for online classes in case something like this happens again.
Okay. Next question from Nitin. What about University of Canada West? I think we've taken a question about Canada West, but if
Yeah.
you would like to answer that.
Canada West MBA program. Again, I have not heard too much about that specific university. I would say look into its ranking, look into how its MBA program fares in general. But most MBA programs from these universities are fairly better than their undergrad. So just look into that. Try to connect with someone who is from that university. That helps a lot.
Okay. So in terms of MBA for both UK and Canada, could you guys suggest a couple of top universities? I think we've discussed that, but can we take it up quickly once more? Top three universities for MBA in your respective countries.
Top
Some-
three?
Top three universities for MBA courses.
Okay. I would say Schulich Business School. York University is Schulich Business School. That is number one. So you have that. University of Toronto. Again, they're the best university, so I'm sure they have a solid MBA program. But apart from them, there is uh, a really good business program for Western University in Canada. They're a bit more difficult to get into compared to University of Toronto, at least their undergrad. But then their business school is top tier too. UBC, I believe UBC has a good MBA program. Thing is, UBC is in British Columbia. I'm not too aware of their uh, operations, but yeah, look into Western University's business school, York University's business school, and check into University of Toronto's business school. Rotman Commerce is amazing.
For UK, I would say, I mean, for doing an MBA, London Business School is the best in the world. So there's one London Business School, Oxford's Business School, and Cambridge Business School as top three. And then after that, it comes like Manchester, Cranfield, Imperial. These comes in the second part.
Okay. So we have a question from Prashant. Want to do masters in data science, and I'm from mechanical department. How could I get an admit from universities? So I'm not sure which country he's talking about. So let us take it for either of the countries. So starting from Sumeet.
So masters in data science, if you don't have a computer degree, then it's a bit difficult. But if you tailor your profiles, showing that you have done something before on something related to data or computers, if you tailor your profile to fit that their expectation, then you can definitely get a admit.
Okay.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
that applies to Canada too. Because if you're not in that that field, it's usually hard to get into a master's of a different degree. But if you show that you have some sort of experience in general of that field, they'll probably consider you, because in the end you're looking to study further. So
Okay.
do that, email the universities, the right people.
Okay. So next question is from Nikita. Any information regarding masters in psychology in UK, maybe related to job opportunities in this particular field? So this question is for you, Sumeet.
Okay, so I'm not really sure about the job opportunities in the UK, but I'm very sure that you can get a job. Masters in psychology, a lot of universities do offer it, and I'm not sure about the top universities in that field, but a couple of my friends are looking to do that in psychology, and they are going for Queen's universities and Queen's University and Kingston University in the UK. But it also depends on. I think there are some division in psychology as well. So if you have a specific requirement in psychology, then you'll have to research on which university offers that according to your interest.
Okay. So let us take this question up from Santan. So if I'm a Canadian and 60% in BE in India, can I get a good university master's course directly?
I mean, if you're Canadian, things are a bit easier because you get the domestic fees. But directly getting into the good universities, that might be a bit difficult. So you might have to drop in for a university not exactly in, like, top 10 level, top 20 level, but see the ones that would consider, because again, your application matters more than just how much you got in your BE. If you have any job experience or if your IELTS is really high, I still say, like, look into all the options. But if it's 60%, definitely just look a bit below the top 8, top 10, because they will be a bit more lenient. Some universities have higher acceptance rate than others.
Right. Okay. So last few minutes, guys, you can type your queries quickly. Other than that, I would like to share that we have curated a whole list of universities and the latest updates on our COVID tracker page. So I'll paste the link down here. At the same time, you have a link on the top, so you can join an exclusive chat session with the mentors. At the same time, if you have any queries, you can reach out to us for any information regarding admissions, applications, scholarships, visas, and you can post your query at info@admitKard.com, and we will surely get back to you. So let us take just these couple of questions last. Ishan, how is MSc in data science in Coventry University, UK? So that comes for you, Sumeet.
Uh, I'm not really sure, but any course in technology has a good job prospects. So I mean, they really need a lot of people from technology and medical field, as I said earlier. So it it I think it's a good university. I've heard of it, but at the end, about talking about job, it's up to you. You'll have to look for jobs, and I'm sure that you can find a good job.
Right. So this last query for this particular webinar, in order to study undergrad level international relations and music at the same time, would it be more advisable to study in UK or Canada, considering job opportunities as well?
I mean, job opportunities for music in both countries, I'm pretty sure, are good regardless. Both have a really good music industry. But study-wise, okay, international relations, again, I can't speak for UK, but for Canada, I'm pretty sure it's fairly decent. It's not what we're known for, but anyways, you're doing a double degree. So I would say, like, choose the university where you can definitely manage both a bit better. Both are really good for music, regardless.
Definitely, yeah.
But job opportunities for those fields are they're not really predictable, if you get what I mean.
Yeah,
It's hard to measure that. International relations for both are really good, but for music, not too sure.
yeah, because music is pretty like artistic, degree. So it really depends on the economy. So if economy is going good, then you'll get a job in music industry. But if it's not really good, then these are the jobs that get slashed first.
Thing is, if you do end up studying, if you choose Canada as your option and you have an opportunity to get known in Canada or the States and have the opportunity to go there to like Chicago or the bigger states, that would be a huge jump. But even now, like Canada's music industry, hip hop wise and other uh, other genres, it's all increasing tremendously. So there's a good prospect.
Okay. Next question from Chandrapal for Sumeet. What made you choose Cranfield and UK? Your perspective on Warwick for full-time MBA, please advise.
So my reason behind choosing UK was that, I mean, there was no actual reason, but I had this in mind that I want to go to UK for my studies. I didn't want to go to any other countries, definitely not US. And for any other country like Germany, France, you'll have to learn their local language. So UK was my choice in the from the beginning, and then choosing Cranfield was. I mean, I just went through the list of top ranked universities. I started applying from London Business School, and I didn't get accepted. So after fourth or fifth rank, I got this Cranfield University on the fifth rank, and I got an admit from that university.
Okay.
So yeah, perspective, your perspective of on Warwick on full-time MBA. Warwick is a really good university. It's like Cranfield and Warwick are pretty much on the same level, same rank. So it's like both of them have their own pros and cons. So yeah, I mean, it really depends. If you get uh, a if you get an admit from Warwick University, you can go for it. If you get a offer from Cranfield, you can go for it. It
Right.
also actually depends on your the fees that fees, their living cost, all those things have to be considered.
Right. So next question from Amit Verma for IT professional, UK is better or Ireland?
I think both of them. Ireland, UK is a bigger market than Ireland, but Ireland gets less number of people going for it. So Ireland has a huge pool of job opportunities. UK is much more competitive. Ireland is less competitive.
Okay. So one quick question even for Ameer. What was
Mhm.
the reason that you chose Canada among all the countries? So did you always have that in your mind?
No, I did not. Like I said earlier, UK was my initial option, but I switched over to Canada because I started thinking a bit more long term, and also because I didn't get my first choice university. My first choice was Leeds, but I ended up getting Loughborough. Loughborough is a great university, but then I was thinking about it further on, and I'm like, long term wise, it's a bit better if I can get to Canada
Right.
because I have family who's staying in Canada and in North America in general. It'd be better if I get closer to them. Plus, York. Why I chose York was because it was fairly decent with its ranking for my degree in general, my bachelor's of commerce degree. The fees wasn't too expensive, which was another huge factor because now if you look at your University of Toronto, its fees is double of York's. So like in that
Right.
way, it's just like I made
Okay.
like a sort of split decision, but I have no regrets. So that's good.
Okay. So, guys, these are the number of queries we could take here, but on the top again, I've pasted the link that you can use to join the exclusive chat section. So you can do that. So one last thing from you guys, a little advice for all the aspirants that are going to come to UK or Canada or any other country who are present on the webinar. So one piece of advice for any study abroad aspirant.
I would say plan ahead and look for. I mean, decide what you want before actually going for the application. Just decide what you want and where you want to go, and weigh all the factors that really matter to you. That would be location, your financial expenditures, everything. When everything is sorted, you know you what you want, then go for the universities.
Yeah. Don't weigh everything off rankings. Rankings are not everything that make a good experience. You have to make sure that yeah, sure, it's good that the university is accredited. That's nice, but make sure it's in a good location. Look at the weather. Look at the culture around. Learn about whether it's a place you feel like you could stay for 3 to 4 years, and then like to make your decision.
Great enough. So, guys, any of your queries, if they have been left unanswered, you have a link on the top. You can put down your queries there, and we'll be happy to help you out. So, I hope this session, particularly with Mentor Sumeet and Ameer, was really insightful. We helped you a lot in solving most of the queries. We're still there. You can connect with them on the link that is there on the top. Also, I'm sharing a link of tracker. So if you're confused about any university, what relaxations are there, if you can join the classes online, offline, you can just click on that link and filter out any university that you want to find out. So on that note, I'm going to take it off. Thank you so much, Ameer. Thank you so much, Sumeet, for joining us. And see you guys there on the WhatsApp chat. And take care.
Thank
All
you so
right.
much for having us. Thank you.
Thanks for the opportunity. See you.
Thank you. Bye bye.